Okay. The finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier has finally arrived. Did it live up to the hype? Did it hit the right story beats? How is Sam Wilson as the new Captain America? Why am I asking so many questions? We'll be answering those questions in a bit. First off, we're going to be heading over to spoiler territory, so you have been warned. The episode pretty much started off where the last episode ended. The Flag Smashers planning to execute a mission as a part of the message that they are trying to get out into the world. At the moment, they have a bunch of supporters, and now more than ever, they need to make a stand for the movement that they are fighting for, which we actually get insight on during this episode. They are fighting to keep people like them, displaced people after the blip who are going to be sent to settlement camps. And the only thing stopping the UN from finalizing the new laws is Kari's plan to straight up kidnap these individuals, preventing them from signing anything. This episode is where we see things more in Carly's perspective, in a way that the other episodes didn't. There we kind of just got Carly saying the overly repetitive line, "one world and one people," along with the lines that they took everything from us, with no adequate explanation. The episode not only gets into that, but also concludes that arc. The Flag Smashers operations are expectedly hindered by Sam, Bucky, and the Power Broker, who is revealed to be, spoilers, Sharon Carter. This is where I definitely had an issue. Let's get into character development of the season. Sam was initially reluctant to take a stand as the new Captain America, and now he took the mantle because he realized that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Steve gave him the shield, and that should be the only thing that matters. Bucky, on the other hand, goes from a lost soul trying to right his wrongs indirectly by carrying out vigilante work, to a soul who is slowly picking up the pieces by being upfront with his victims' family members and checking their names off to his book. But Sharon? I guess let's backtrack a little bit. She's the niece of I wrote Sharon Carter, but I meant to say Peggy Carter, who is literally one of the founding members of S.H.I.E.L.D. She has shown herself to be a faithful ally to the late Steve Rogers and his team. Now in this series, we are told that after helping Cap, Sam, and Bucky during the events of Civil War, she pretty much is now on the most wanted list and made a new life for herself in Madripoor. Though this does make sense for her to be the Power Broker, given her history of going behind the government's back, I can't help but feel that this development is unnatural. There wasn't really anything hinting that she had this side to her, but maybe that's what Season 2 is for, or Captain America 4, they just announced that. Sam as Cap was really cool. After years of explanation on who Steve's successor will be, to finally getting the answer in Endgame, to getting a show dedicated to Sam and his journey to finally becoming Captain America, I think it was all worth it. The suit looked better than expected compared to the, toy leaks, and there was a right balance of red, white, and blue all throughout. I really like the white cowl with the red visor. It's a really nice contrast, and it's just way better than his Falcon suit, and I guess they did that on purpose. In terms of functionality, one can expect that, being a product of Wakanda, it is likely to be made of vibranium. And it really shows, particularly allowing Sam to be hit by a helicopter, put in the water, and still being able to fly out and execute the mission. Another aspect that was noteworthy was the fact that, obviously Sam can fly. The flying aspect really adds a new element to the Captain America mantle. He even uses thrusters as leverage against the fight with George Batroc, where he uses the thrusters to push him during an altercation. Sam then throws a shield out the window to fly out and catch it. That action didn't really have a purpose, but it did look really good. Bucky in the episode was in the fight, though there wasn't really much at stake in terms of his character development. Unless you count the fact that this is the first time since Endgame and Infinity War that he's been in the public eye during a fight, though I don't think anybody really batted an eye. He had a bunch of cool moments, though something that really bothered me was that the Flag Smashers were able to take him on. This is very unrealistic, as we all know that he was a trained international assassin. Although, one can take into consideration that this may have been due to his training being associated with the mind wipe that Hydra does on him when he becomes the Winter Soldier. But Bucky was still awesome nevertheless. Sharon was also a very valuable asset during the fight, as she was able to take out the driver of the truck with some of the ambassadors still inside. But the way she killed him was very gruesome, using mercury vapors that essentially melted his skin, and therefore death probably due to inhalation of such a toxic element. Sharon showed her dark side in the episode, but none was as dark as needing to kill Carly. Carly knew that she was the power broker, and Sharon took the chance right as Carly was going to pull the trigger on Sam. It's very evident that she had gone through a lot, and one can hope that we can see more of her backstory during the 5 years. John Walker joined the fight relatively late, but he had a drive. He was there to prove that he can take on the Flag Smashers and carry out his personal vendetta he had against Carly for killing Lamar, aka Battlestar. He got some good hits in and got some in return, but right when he was finally going to catch Carly, a truck full of people were about to fall off. It was a 2-story fall. He sacrificed catching Carly in order to save those people, showing that he was able to make the right decision in the heat of battle, as Lamar had always told him. He isn't the bad guy, he's just a man with flaws. We all have them. He just made a terrible decision that ultimately cost him the Captain America mantle. I believe that the main reason that he's unliked by the community is because he has a lot to live up to. He's constantly trying to live up to that legacy that Steve had left behind, but he has simply failed to focus on what made Steve so special, which wasn't his track record or his ability to execute missions. It was his heart and a desire to do good. That one deed led him back on the right track. He ends up teaming up with Bucky and they take on some Flag Smashers. John even quotes Abraham Lincoln as they rounded out the SWAT team to arrest the Flag Smashers, to which Bucky replies with, "Seriously, Lincoln?" He has some playful banter, which, on top of the nod that Sam gave him at the end of the episode as a sign of respect, shows that he finally got what he wanted, which was to be acknowledged. I really like the character, and I get that this man, he was just defined by one choice. Though unjustifiable, one can argue that he made a decision out of rage fueled by the fact that he had just watched his best friend die on him. I definitely hope to see more of him in the future. Now, let's talk about the villain. I know a lot of people didn't care about her, and I think I'm one of those people. Carly Morgenthau was a strong-willed woman who believed that the ends justified the means. She's willing to kill, but on the other hand of that, she was willing to die. She states to her team that the movement will move on even without us, showing us that just as much as she believes in what she's doing, she's literally willing to die. This on paper is an admirable trait, but I can't help but feel that she just wasn't as likable of a character for me to care about her dying. She does die in this episode after being shot by Karen. I combined Karen and Carly. Sharon and Carly. Sharon. She was shot by Sharon. As Carly was dying in Sam's arms, she uttered the word sorry, signifying how she's actually remorseful despite stating otherwise. Sam brought her lifeless body to the stretchers to be taken away. Right after, Sam had a very eye-opening discussion with the government officials, stating that they have the power to feed billions, yet choose to take the easy route by sending the displaced people to settlement camps. He said that you either have the power of an insane god or a misguided teenager. Here you can definitely get a feel for Sam's Captain America. He has just as much